I hope that this message finds you making room for some peaceful moments in all the tumultuous energy of the recent days. I wanted to make a video to share with you just some tips and ways that I am fiercely protecting like my energy as this week continues to unfold, as we wait for results from the election. And I just wanted to share this offering as one to help keep grounded, to help keep us grounded. My day yesterday really started off recognizing like how emotional I was. It actually snuck up on me. I was listening to a message from a loved one, and their emotions kind of like overtook me, and I wasn't really prepared for that. And I realized that, and set the intention like immediately that I really needed to be careful with my energy, because that was such a small shift, and it really like woke me up to recognize that I'm carrying just so much, that all you had to do was just like scratch the little surface and it was just there. Like I was like, my eyes welled up. I was in this place, and that I could remember being in that particular moment before and realizing that it was really the tipping point of that spiral, right? We all, there's this new term that I just read in one of my newsletters of doom scrolling. Like when you're scrolling on social media and then you like continue to see all that's wrong in the world, or you're in this place of anxiety and you're doom scrolling, like you're seeing like the doomsday scenarios. And there's been so much energy of this year that is real and negative and heavy. And I go through moments where I have to manage like all of that, right? We all do. And so it was really helpful to be, I was so grateful for this family member for helping me see early in the day that I needed to be careful. And so once my husband and I were cooking and setting and talking about our day and our plans as we normally do, it was also a time for us to just like get grounded about like what we both needed, and sharing in each other, confiding in each other, like what some present emotions were, but also just like what we wanted to and what we needed support in cultivating throughout the day. And it was such a mindful way for us to begin our day together in such an important and pivotal like moment, and so it really helped us. It helped me to just appreciate and find grounding quite quickly. And so I share that to say, like, the first tip is just ask for what you need, whether that's from your roommates, from a partner, even from a pet, as silly as it sounds, to be able to have the snuggles that you need, to have the comfort of having that just like being like with you throughout the day, and that companionship. It's all important. The second tip that I have is really a reframe from work that I do like as a facilitator and a coach. And we usually set, when we come into space together, community agreements. And one of them is almost always like make space, take space. And in a typical session, that making space is really making space for others. Like it's being mindful about like how much you show up, how much you talk, which is important still in this moment. And then the other half of that is take space, like take space for yourself. And for the current place that we're in, like right now, I think it's really important for us to like make space for others. For those of you who are watching and happen to supervise other people, who own your own businesses, who have the privilege of having some autonomy in this like time and in your life, I think it's really helpful for those of us who have that to be able to like make space for others. I think this can look like encouraging others if they need to take their sick days, to take mental health days if they need one, to not question whether or not somebody's sick day is like valid, right? that is, I think, all a part of making space. The other part is like making space for yourself. Like if you are a parent, my heart goes out to you. This year has been incredibly difficult, and as much as there are so many different types of parents, and as much love as you hold for your children, this year has tested our patience. It's tested our stamina, and I just encourage you to make space for yourself. Make space for you and your partner. Make space for yourself if you're living alone. If you need space in your day to connect with like those you care about, let's pencil out some time, make that calendar reminder so that you can, whether it's texting, whether it's a phone call, whether it's, being on a Zoom call, take that time so that you have space for those connections and the things that you need. And that's also part of taking space, right? The other half of it, take space, take care of yourself, make sure you're drinking water, and centering yourself with good nourishment, whether that's company or food. Those things are super important. So make space, take space, folks. The third thing is breathe, taking deep breaths. It is so important, especially in these moments where the news and the media and the social media is so at times full of different like triggers, like for our emotions, whether that's our anxiety, whether that's our fear, right? And it's important for us to be in a place of when we feel that sense of heightenment, our breath can be such a powerful reminder because it allows our neurobiology and in ourselves to center. When we take shallow breaths and we feel attacked, it triggers our fight or flight sensation, right? And so anxiety, when we feel overstimulated and reacting to things because we're fearful of our safety, which again, I want to say is completely valid, it is important for us to find tools that can help us manage that. And breath can be such a powerful reminder. For those that have access to a coach, a counselor, a therapist, I encourage you to set up an appointment if you can. Taking care of ourselves and there is not a substitute for real support if that's really what you need to help your mental health. Like, this is the time that we dig into the practices that can help us be rooted. And the rooted method is also my fourth tip of really just taking time to be in nature. And I mentioned this in the previous video, the power of being outside and the medicine that's there. I was thinking on my walk this morning, I took a longer walk by myself, which was just so fulfilling. And watching the leaves like fall to the ground and also shake. As they were shaking, it reminded me just of laughter, of the way that when you're with like good company and you have those deep belly laughs. And I was thinking about how the trees and nature in this moment are, gently laughing at us like five-fingered beings, right? Like they're laughing at all the ways that this moment is challenging us and doing so in a lovely way, and reminding us that there is still a lot of power outside of the way that systems and structures of power tend to be extended like over us and thwarted upon us and corrupted. And it was just it just filled me with such a joy seeing these laughing leaves like shake on the trees, and just being reminded that even though they're shaking and even though they're like trembling from the wind, like they're still rooted. And that was my reminder today of just like finding ways to root, and really the inspiration for this video. How do we continue to root in what matters to us, and support each other and nourish each other? So I hope these tips are helpful. I hope that you can take moments today and throughout these next few days and weeks to take care of yourself, because you matter. You matter so deeply.